Alright, the time being 6:12 p.m. We'll call to order the Tilton Northfield Fire and EMS Safer Grant Committee meeting. Let the record show that present are Dan Gilman, no, Matt Gilman, geez, Dan, Matt Gilman and Eric Pyra and the Chief Sitar. So first, I guess we should just
The minutes.
The minutes of, we have two sets? No, one. What, do you have them?
I do not have
Oh, Chief gave them all of them.
them. Yes, I gave them all to you.
I thought we just had a lot of minutes. Review the minutes of May 24th, 2022. No, doesn't have anything. Guess I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
I'll second.
Second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye.
I wasn't there, I'm just abstaining because I cannot.
Okay.
I believe that's the
Well, you can.
Robert's
you
rule,
can
right?
still-
If you can't verify the vouch for the meeting minutes, you shouldn't vote for them. Am I wrong?
Yeah, we'll still vote for them.
Oh, for sure. Aye.
Right. Motion passes. Moving on. What do we got next?
What do you want to discuss? We'll do this part first because it's kind of
Yeah, we can go over the 2023 draft warrant.
Article 10.
The Article 10 has to do with an amendment to the apparatus and equipment replacement fund. I'll read that into the record. To see if the district will vote to amend the provisions of RSA 31:95-C, adopted March 7th, 2025. That doesn't look right.
That is not right.
No. So, I don't know when it was adopted, but in the future it was on March 7th. To restrict the revenues from ambulance billing, we didn't catch that last night. To restrict the revenues from ambulance billings to expenditures for the purposes of apparatus and equipment replacement, ambulance billing services, advanced medical training, vehicle and equipment maintenance, repairs and service testing. Such revenues and expenditures shall be accounted for in a special fund to be known as the Apparatus Replacement and Equipment Fund. This fund would be separate from the general fund. Any surplus in said fund shall not be deemed part of the general fund, accumulated surplus, and shall be expended only after a vote by the fire district at a district meeting to appropriate a specific amount from said fund for a specific purpose related to the purpose of the fund or source of revenues. This article is recommended by the Board of Commissioners and is or is not recommended by the Budget Committee. 2/3 majority ballot vote required.
So this is the warrant article that I drafted in response to the committee's recommendation that we move specifically maintenance services and repairs of all our equipment into the apparatus and equipment fund from the apparatus and, from the operations in order to use those savings to help offset the cost of firefighters' salaries, specifically the safer firefighters, once and hopefully when they become non-safer employees.
And that would be,
which will take place, the SAFER grant ends February 8th of 2024.
February 8th.
Yep. So if this warrant article is passed at this district meeting, it will take effect
January 1st.
January 1st of 2024.
What was, I know you had, what, 20,000 in there for unknown repairs. I forget what the other amount was that you had in the budget. Was it like another 20,000 for the actual maintenance of the
So the
vehicles?
total maintenance and repairs for vehicles was around $50,000 this year.
Yeah.
Then there's also service contracts and other repairs of equipment, which would probably bring the total to somewhere in the area of $70,000. That could be moved from operating to the apparatus and equipment fund. Thus, that $70,000 would be used to help offset the cost of the salaries of the SAFER employees when they come off the SAFER grant.
That would be it would lessen the tax impact, that's for sure.
It would.
That would, I know the commissioners were for that last night, so. It was, wasn't really, we didn't really discuss it much, did we?
We've discussed it a few
Yeah.
times previously, so last night it really wasn't there wasn't anything new to discuss about it, so the commissioners approved the warrant article as presented. And so the next step would be for the budget committee to look at that, and I don't think we've set a date for the budget committee, but there's 2 dates out there that have been proposed. Pretty close to Christmas. I think the 15th, Thursday the 15th, and the 21st.
Monday the 12th,
Maybe, I don't know.
or Wednesday the 21st for the budget committee?
Yep.
Sure. Cool.
So we have to wait for the budget committee to get
Yeah.
back to Kathy so she can set the date
Yeah.
and make arrangements for a meeting place.
Hopefully it's not just he could be here in 35 minutes, but I think we'll be done.
Probably done. And I'll definitely be famished by then.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, ate beforehand.
Oh, you're lucky. So, yeah, so that was a pretty good idea. I think Paula had that idea.
Yes, he was one of the main proponents of that.
Yeah. So that, and then I don't know if that ties into what Scott said.
I didn't get to read Scott's
It
comments.
just
I
says
just
his only thoughts were that he thinks we are in good shape between the cell tower revenue, which hasn't started yet, proposed warrant article and budget process this far. I believe we can show over 50% reduction in the cost of the SAFER guys with just that. I would be curious what the ambulance revenue increase was to further strengthen that position, but we can't touch that revenue for manpower.
We cannot touch the revenue from manpower, but again, it's still, with the additional personnel, we've been able to increase our ambulance revenue by quite, I'd say 25%. Well, since the employees came on board, and
We need to show that.
this, yes, I will show that in a slide,
Yeah.
and the commissioners, I'll certainly show it to the commissioners before we get to that point, but
Yeah.
I'm guessing we're gonna end up in the $550,000 range for revenue collection this year.
Yeah, I don't think it's ever been over, has it ever been over 450?
Last year, yes.
Oh, last year was 480 maybe?
No, last year was 523.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Oh, but that was with the SAFER grant.
that was with the SAFER grant employees.
Yeah.
Before the SAFER grant employees, it was 463.
Yeah.
So nearly $100,000 difference.
And that's more that we can
It's
put towards vehicles and,
Yeah.
big ticket items that we have to purchase every few
right.
years.
And at this time, the big ticket items that we need to purchase aren't really in, we've purchased all the big ticket items. The next big ticket item that we have in schedule to purchase would be another ambulance, which will go in next year's
Those are-
warrant article, but we won't be getting it for 2 years after that because of the delay, 2-year delay of getting ambulances.
That's
But
crazy.
so the money won't be expended until 26 or something. I think 26 is when we'll be expending it.
By then you'll have, should have well over $1 million in there.
Yes.
And we don't, do we have other big ticket? I don't remember if you're,
Maybe a pickup truck.
yeah.
The only
You might have
other.
to order those now too, the way you're going.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but, I mean, those are like 6-month waits,
Yeah, I know.
at least.
So the only other thing that may come out of the apparatus and equipment fund any time in the immediate near future, other than those 2 items, other than what we normally expend out of there, which is EMS disposables, EMS outlay, equipment and gear for firefighting, like turnout gear and axes and hose and stuff like that, rescue ropes and swift water stuff, which doesn't account for a whole lot every year. The only other expenditure that may come out of there at some point in the future is if we vote to approve a new fire station, the equipment within that fire station, we could use that fund to equip some of the needs that within that fire station that aren't really part of the building, but equipment that's needed within the fire station, such as like a air compressor, the primal vent system,
Yep.
that type of stuff. Other big equipment that we need, we kind of already have. We
Could
have.
you take the plasma vent from either one of the
You could
stations?
probably hack some of it out.
Yeah. Probably not worth doing that. These are probably just gonna damage it and it's just gonna be,
I would leave that up to the vendor
yeah.
to disassemble and see what's viable to move and what's not. I know all the tracking and stuff like that would just be trashed, and the only thing you would probably really move would probably be the motor and the vac system itself. Everything else would have to be replumbed and stuff like that. So,
It'd be retrofitted anyways, because it would be for those specific buildings.
Yeah.
They might have,
you know, there's different requirements. I don't know, 1-phase, 3-phase. I don't know what the motors are in each one. I think that's a 3-phase motor over there. Over here is a 1-phase motor. I don't know what we'd have over at either new facility, what we'd use for electrical stuff, and then all that stuff's up in the air. But, at each place within the apparatus room, there's an air drop and there's a water drop, electrical drop, all that kind of stuff that go on reels could be come out of the apparatus and equipment fund. Turnout gear, equipment, racks, things like that. Other than that, over the course of the years, we've pretty much purchased and set up things like that. So like originally, we were gonna have to build a communications tower at any new facility, but both proposed places that we've been talking about already have communication towers in place now. So that's a large expense that we won't have to do, that we would have had to do. Just hooking up to them,
yeah.
which is a lot cheaper than building a whole new one.
I think we can show good ways that we're gonna use some other revenues to offset some of the costs, so it's not as much of a burden on taxpayers.
Yep. So, using those apparatus and equipment funds to help with this equipment purchases of a new fire station would help offset the tax rate on any bond that we would have to float for the building. So those are all things that we can show that are good because of the additional employees. Never mind, the main purpose of the employees was to improve the response time and the quality of service that we're able to provide to residences and businesses of the fire district.
Okay. Gotta get passed, that's all. All right. Now, what do we have next we have so last night at our commissioners meeting, the chief presented a new is it a policy? Yeah,
Policy.
Policy, and it's entitled Motor Vehicle Insurance Billing Policy. And just to give you what it is the Tilton Northfield Fire District Motor Vehicle Insurance Billing Policy establishes a framework for revenue collection due to a response by the Tilton Northfield Fire District to an incident involving a motor vehicle. It also provides guidance to Tilton Northfield Fire District and its agents on fees charged, invoices for services rendered, and the process for writing off uncollected receivables. So, I'm not going to much. So, this is a policy that would basically allow the fire district, is it the fire district, would be able to bill someone for responding to any incident that involves a motor vehicle.
Yes.
So it includes the performance of the following services: patient extrication, scene safety, hazardous materials mitigation, fire extinguishment, and traffic control. It does not include patient care or patient transportation to a medical facility. The minimum fee for any incident is $1,500. Incidents lasting longer than 1 hour and 10 minutes will be charged an additional hourly fee. Additional hours will be charged accordingly.
So this allows us to bill insurance companies for responses to motor vehicle incidents, or incidents that involve a motor vehicle, whether it's a fire or an accident, and allows us to, we could use a contractor similar to what we have for ambulance billing to bill the insurance companies for us and do all the legwork for us. All we would have to do is provide them with the EMFRS report and possibly a copy of the police report of an accident, and they would do everything else. They collect for every incident we provide them for collections. They get a $25 fee for administrative fee, and they collect 20% of whatever is collected from the insurance company. And at the end of the month, they send us a check for our 80%, minus the $25 per incident that they managed. So given what we have, that we normally respond to about 120 motor vehicle incidents per year, and given that the collection rate for this company stated that about 60% of those are collectible, and given that the average collection fee per incident is about $1,000, that means we would collect about $60,000 minus their collection fee of 20%, which would bring it down to $50,000 minus however many incidents times $25. So we're talking in the range of $50,000 in additional revenue that we could use to offset operating costs and label it as such.
Is
So
this like billing insurance, or is this like ambulance billing, so we're actually billing the people? So if you don't have motor vehicle insurance, you get a bill for $1,500
These bills go to the insurance
to
companies.
the insurance company.
Is that collection fee negotiable?
The 20%?
Yeah.
Yes.
Seems high.
So,
Maybe I'm greedy.
can discuss otherwise. I don't think I should discuss in public otherwise right now about that.
I looked at one town's policy on their website. It's a lot longer than this.
Yes.
It's like, wow. I mean, they bill like, I mean, basically, I mean, they're gonna charge you for electrical tape, like fire extinguishers and see like.
Yeah, so, yeah, I looked at,
I know you made an inclusive fee, but I was like,
30 different policies, and many municipalities where they operate mostly out of Maine, some of them just charge a flat fee, some of them charge a fee for an engine response, then they add on for the ambulance, then they add on for command car, then they add on for extrication, they add on if they pull a hose off the truck, they add on if they use water, they add on if they have to put cones out in the street, and when you add it all up, and you look at people that are charging flat fees, it all comes out to about the same.
Yeah.
So to make it easier, I says, we'll just charge a flat fee, and it covers everything. And I would say this fee is fair for the average response to a motor vehicle accident compared to what everybody else is charging, and for what our actual costs are. And given that it's an hourly rate, if it's an extremely long incident, we can charge by the hour. I know a lot of the other ones charge additional rates per hour as well. And so I thought this was the easiest and fairest way to get a fair return for our services. There are some where we're going to lose money on, some we're going to be probably over compensated for. But overall, I think it's fair.
we can get it in place for next year, or at least it'll give us an idea of
Yeah,
where we're looking.
and the commissioners look to do this as like a one-year test run. We can, and then see what happens after that, and then after 1 year, if this is, you know, if it's working good, maybe they'll do a special revenue fund for all the income and designated that income to go to offset a particular cost or costs, similar to what the tower revenue fund is and things like that. I think it's a good idea.
Yeah.
It's interesting, yeah.
Other states charge, right?
Yes. So when I was down in Massachusetts, when I worked for two separate municipalities, they did it, and when I worked for private ambulance services, they did it as well. And this is way back in the late 70s, early 80s, as far back they were doing it. And when I came up here, we weren't doing it. I said, I wonder why we don't do it here.
Probably because we don't require health insurance, or motor vehicle insurance as a state. We're almost there, but I think we're the only one who doesn't require it.
So it just because you don't have insurance doesn't mean you're not responsible for
Sure.
things, and I know I think you have to have it. If you have a loan on your car, it's required.
Yeah, bank would require it.
If you're under the age of 25, I think it's still required. And if you've had a previous accident where you did not fulfill your responsibility to pay any damages that you were responsible for, you are then required to have it as well.
But there's still people that don't, even though they're
Yes,
supposed to.
there are still people.
They get it and then they let it lapse and no one knows.
Yes, I know in some states you cannot get you can't register your car
Unless you have a stamp.
show proof of insurance.
Massachusetts.
Massachusetts is one of them. New York is one of them.
Again, you have it at the time you register, but you don't pay your bill.
So I know if you don't pay an insurance bill in Massachusetts, for instance, say you have to make like monthly installments or quarterly
Yeah, that's
installments.
what we do here.
If you don't, the insurance company notifies the registry that you didn't pay your bill, and next thing you know, you're getting pulled over for non-payment of insurance, and because they revoke your registration at that point in time. New Hampshire does not do that at this point.
Alright. Well, I guess we're gonna have to try to squeeze another meeting in somewhere to get them full. Just so they can be brought up to speed on this.
Either that or the minutes,
Minutes, yeah.
email, let them know any questions. And I guess,
Well, I guess before the district meeting, so that we can all be on the same page for whatever we have to present.
right,
You know.
I think, if one of the committee members wants to do a quick narrative of, you know, the history of the Safer Committee, why it was created, what they did, what they found, and,
Yeah, probably a good way to,
yeah,
tie
and then
up
I can have a
some-
slide up there showing the offsets from this, the offset from the shifting of the apparatus and equipment fund, the offset from the tower fund, and also the additional revenues collected and how that can be used to offset.
When do we think the tower's gonna be up and generating
We're
revenue?
just waiting for the electricity to be hooked up. Other than that, we're ready to rock and roll.
There's the poles planted.
Every poles are planted, the underground wiring's all done. We just
Yep.
gotta wait for the electric company to come and make that connection, that final connection. The source has not been fun to work with.
no.
Alright. Anything else that we need to discuss?
That's it.
Any business?
Unless you guys have anything else.
No.
No, I think we have a pretty realistic
Everybody
package here.
Alright.
Yeah, I'll let you know if the doors unlocked or not. She's been trying to keep it open for me.
6:40, make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned at 6:40.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I hit stop. Stop. And then I can turn it off.